I first worked with a guy on the Packers. He just got a few pairs of custom Jordans. So we just had a pair of the Jordan 6 cleats, decked them out with the Packers colorway, and things just really took off from there over the next couple of years. No, oh no, diehard Bears fan. So yeah, my first pair being for one of them, that hurt a little. That hurt a little. My name is Dillon Dejesus, and I'm a full-time sneaker customizer here in Chicago, Illinois. So we're starting off with a pair of these Vapor Untouchable 3s. So we have this pretty cool gold sole plate that we're gonna leave alone, but right now I'm gonna go ahead and get things started with prepping the upper. All right, about to get pretty loud. So the whole sanding thing, I really didn't do until the last couple years or so, and a lot of tricks that I end up applying is stuff I learned from like architecture school. That's what my background was in. And anytime you're doing any painting on wood or anything that we would use for models, you had to really sand it down, prime it, prep it, all that stuff. So I said, you know what, let me give that a shot. And then that was kind of like the light bulb turned on, and all of a sudden I was able to apply intricate stencils, LV, Gucci, all that type of stuff. And I no longer had any of that paint peeling coming up from tape or stencils or anything. So to me, this is kind of a game changer as far as steps for prepping, really. So the first time that I started customizing shoes was my second year of college. I was a full-time college student, broke college student, so I couldn't afford all the shoes I wanted at the time. So this was shortly after the LeBron South Beach 8s released. And I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and take a pair of Jordan 6s and try to recreate this colorway. Seeing other people do it online, let me give it a shot. Now, once I posted them on Instagram, this is right when Instagram started getting popular, 2011 or 12, just kind of grew organically like that. I decided, let me go ahead and give this little hobby a try for the full summer, make a little bit of money just so I don't need to go get another job. And then after that summer, really focusing on it for a few months, heading back to school, started to realize, okay, there might be an actual business here. Let's try to take this a little bit more serious. And just ultimately said, all right, I'm gonna go the shoe painting route. And so I had to sit down with my parents and tell them that, but thankfully I wasn't just saying like, hey, mom and dad, I'm quitting college and I have no plan. I was working from home in a spare bedroom, and they had seen it start to become a business, so they had seen the shades of it and the potential. So I got lucky. I don't have a horror story of telling my parents. They were supportive all the way, so. This is something that was pretty cool that we did in the last year. We were able to work with the Brooklyn Nets, and we did a pair to match the City Edition jerseys that were inspired by Biggie's Coogee print sweaters. So this was really cool. We were able to actually go to the Barclays Center, set up right outside of their swag shop, and sell 200 pairs of those. So that was really cool. What's interesting is the guy who set up that entire Brooklyn project reached out to me on Etsy. Just somebody messages like, hey, I want a pair of Brooklyn shoes, a Nets inspired pair. I'm like, all right, cool, it'll be this cost. And I end up sending them to him, and he's like, oh, just so you know, I happen to be the CFO of the Brooklyn Nets. Would you be interested in doing a pair of the City Edition shoes? We're releasing this jersey later this year. So he sends me the artwork for that. I send him a pair of those, and he loved them. He's like, all right, I want to get a pair for some of our season ticket holders. Got him to those, they enjoyed them. He's like, all right, you know what, how about we release them to the public in the stadium? And I'm just like, so just over a matter of a few months, making a good connection. So, I mean, you really just never know what's gonna come across your desk, who's gonna be reaching out to you. And, when you get a lot of inquiries, you gotta kind of treat everybody the same because you never know who it is. Yeah, so what I'm doing right now is finding the reference image that I want off of Google, and then what I'm gonna do is pull it into Photoshop, trace it in there, and then load it into our stencil cutting program, and I prefer to use Silhouette Studio. I'm doing Mewtwo, so classic old school Pokemon, one of the best original ones, so I think this will be pretty cool to do on a pair of cleats. When I was a kid, and I remember when the first movie came out, I think They had like meetups every Tuesday at Burger King's, and so you could go trade cards, play on the Game Boy, and battle people and stuff. So definitely had a huge love for it as a kid. So I would say at this point we've become pretty known for a lot of custom cleats. We tend to do a lot of cartoon style, a lot of superheroes, and all of those things along those lines. I would say most people probably know us for custom cleats at this point. I would say that got really big after working with Eric Ebron, and he said, Lance Moore, my teammate, and I want to get a pair of Christmas cleats. So they had a Monday Night Football game, Christmas Eve. They both said, you know, we know we're going to get fined for these, but we want to wear crazy Christmas cleats. And so they did. And then they got fined at like $5,000 or something for wearing the cleats. Charity that they were able to do, auction them off after. So, you know, good things came from it. And then after that, the NFL picked up the whole My Cause, My Cleats thing. And that's where guys started to see it a little bit more. And then a lot of guys are like, okay, I want to wear some custom cleat ones throughout the year. And then I think an interesting thing that we did was get our own custom blue boxes that all of a sudden are popping up in the locker room. Whereas typically you see red, orange, black, white boxes. Now all of a sudden, if we have these light baby blue boxes popping up in locker rooms, people are wondering what that is. So there's just all these little branding things that get word of mouth out. And I mean, word of mouth and people seeing it in person is the best kind of exposure there is, in my opinion. So depending on the time of year, the team size will change, but me, Dillon, full-time, I'm the artist behind everything. We'll also have my little brother Daniel come in. He handles all of our prep work throughout the year. We also have Jason with us all the time. He's our creative director, handles everything when it comes to video, all the YouTubing, all of the photography, all the social media. That's all handled by him. Because, you know, I really think that that's an art in and of itself that I don't think that many customizers have somebody doing. But if you can put that TLC into that too, I think that you know, the customers can see that. So yeah, I don't know how so many people do it as a one-man team. I mean, obviously I did that to start, but it's a lot of work. So when I first started out looking at some of the peers and fellow mentors that were in the same field, it wasn't really common knowledge. A lot of the tips and tricks and other artists weren't necessarily sharing the information. It was kind of go figure it out yourself, do some trial and error. And we thought that there was kind of an opening to get on YouTube and post a lot of tutorials and talk about a lot of different things, especially just from having all these years of experience working on so many different shoes. There's so many different things you need to know about working with all the right materials and all these different additives that are required for different shoes and things like that. So we just thought there was an opening for us to get in and try to help teach within the market. So I think that our kind of niche within YouTube is hopefully within the custom sneaker community of help promoting others and lifting others up. So we have a new series where we review other artists' customs live on camera, talk about them, talk about things they could improve on, things they could learn from. And I just think it's an interesting opportunity for people to see other people's customs be critiqued by another artist. This way we can all learn from each other, and rather than just us posting time lapses of our own shoes, we figured that it's a little bit more beneficial for everybody watching if we talk about them, walk through the process, try to talk through the thinking process for how every single pair was kind of made that we do. And now let's move on to the fun part. All right, that is all we have for you guys today. We hope you enjoyed our 5 simple steps to painting better cleats. But other than that, guys, go ahead, get out there and just create. So the way that the whole Toothpick thing started was when I first started out, wasn't investing a lot of money into good materials such as brushes and things like that. So my brushes were constantly fraying, and I was wondering, what do I need to do to pull these perfectly straight lines that I can never seem to achieve? And I thought, let me grab a toothpick and just work from there and never look back. And then I decided, you know what, let me go ahead and show this in the YouTube videos. I know people will be wondering, what are they thinking with this? But a lot of people have given it a try since. We use a hashtag ToothpickGang for it, and we repost everybody on Instagram who uses it. And it's just started to become a little bit of a following around that. So my advice to somebody who's just starting out as a customizer is to really try to treat this as a little bit more than a hobby. Try to treat it like a business. So that means you need to focus on things outside of just the artwork. You really need to focus on the photography. You need to focus on how you're delivering the product to the customer. And there's so many things to consider other than just the artwork. So if you're looking for us, we're easy to find. You can check us out on Instagram. We're at Dejesus Custom Footwear. And same thing right here on YouTube at Dejesus Custom Footwear.
If you can say this, before Nike started, really hooking them up on the custom, who was like a custom guy that you really rocked with?
His name, the company is called Dejesus Custom.
From Chicago?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah, man, they used to take
Shout out, man. Shout out.
Shout out.
He might have did some force me back in the day. Don't quote me to that, but I know that guy. They've been tight for years.